Hello and welcome to Cardboard History. I'm David, and today I want to share with you guys some of the pickups that I got from the Strongsville Vintage Card Show this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. I was there just for Friday. A great single day at the show. The nice thing about it is it's a small enough show you can do it in just one day, and that was all that I had. I think overall I probably made about 4 trips around the show. Really tried to make the most of the time that I had, and then that evening had the opportunity to hang out with a lot of other great YouTubers at the meet and greet to watch Showcase Showdown live with Mike and Chris from Missouri, which was a lot of fun to see that live and to watch, and really great to see some friends and make some new friends, and it was just a great time. So to all the YouTubers that were there, it was great to talk to you if I got the chance to. If not, next year hopefully. It was a really enjoyable show for me. I got my target card, which is the last card that I'll show, and a few other fun things along the way. So let me turn the camera around and share some of the cards that I picked up. So I'm not going to share everything because I'm saving a few pieces for a Ken Burns video that I'm going to be doing down the road, but wanted to share some of the other things. Start off with a bunch of Cubs cards. Or pieces. So this was an interesting thing that I had never seen before. So this is 1971 Mattel, you can tell in the copyright, and this is from the Instant Replay. So these went into some sort of like a small toy record player and played highlights or clips. If anybody knows how to listen to what's on this, if these are uploaded somewhere online, I would love to find out. I know the Auravision records that are out there, you can find those, but not sure what is on this one if it gets played, but someone had these and it was kind of a different piece, something I didn't know that was out there. So that was fun to pick up. And the rest of these are part of trying to pick up all the Topps inserts, things like these are the rub-offs. So this is from 1966, Ron Santo, and 1965 Santo transfer. So I've been trying to pick up the Cubs cards in these wherever I can. Then back 61 Topps Magic rub-offs of Ernie Banks on the bingo card. So I'll put this up here with Banks. And then another one. So they had things like the tattoos, rub-offs, transfers, and stamps. So this is the 1961 Topps stamp of Ron Santo. Another thing that I'm also working on, I have the Topps Cubs run, and I've been trying to put together the Venezuelan run as well. So I did find one of these at JD's booth, his table there. Usually he has a good selection of Venezuelans, but I think I'm really getting down to just needing a handful of these that are left. These are always in pretty rough shape, but written in English, but then over here, the copyright's in Spanish, says Venezuela. So that's how you can tell those from 59. Then this was a first for me, first Redman that I picked up from 1953. This doesn't have the tab on it. It was like a $3 card, but I just wanted to have an example of this in my collection, and maybe someday I'll get into these a little bit more, but I think right now I've got enough on my plate with the project I'm working on, but just wanted to have an example of a Redman in my collection. And then this was another card. This is from the 1950 Callahan's set. This was a set produced for the Hall of Fame. It started in 1950, and they produced this through 1956. Kind of similar, I would say, to what was done with the Steel Perez cards. In the 80s, except for these were produced for the Hall of Fame, handed out at the Hall of Fame, and starting in 1950 they produced all the Hall of Famers, and then each year up through 56 they added in the new inductees to the Hall of Fame. So this is Johnny Evers for the Cubs. So first example of this, and I've been trying to learn a little bit more about this set because there's some really interesting Hall of Famers who have their first cards in this set. So those are all of the Cubs cards that I picked up. And next I want to share a couple of cards that I picked up for the Ken Burns collection. So if you've watched any of my videos on the Ken Burns collection, I got a brief introduction on what I'm trying to do is to collect a card of each person that is named in the documentary of the book. And so these were a few of the cards that I picked up. This is from the 1959 Fleer Ted Williams. And this card isn't for Ted Williams, but it's for Tom Yawkey, who was the owner of the Red Sox, bought them in 1933. And this is one of the few cards that actually has him pictured and has him on the back there with Ted with Tom Yawkey, owner of the Red Sox. So that was for my example for Tom Yawkey for the Ken Burns collection. Next up is Henry Thompson. Thompson was one of the first African-American players to play. A lot of the attention goes to Jackie Robinson and then Larry Doby, but Hank Thompson played just 2 weeks after Larry Doby. So he was the second player in the American League and played 27 games and then was released. And he batted like 235, something like that. Was an okay player, but actually went back to the Negro Leagues after he was released and played another season for the Kansas City Monarchs before eventually getting called up to the New York Giants, where he played for a few seasons. So that's kind of a lesser-known player, but someone who's interesting in history. Vic Wertz, this is also for the Ken Burns collection. This is the 1949 Bowman, and he is most known for a ball that he hit, and he is more so known for who caught the ball than for him being the one that hit it. He was the batter who hit the deep fly ball in the Polo Grounds that Mays caught with this amazing catch. I didn't pick this card up. I've had this card in my collection, but this kind of shows the other end of what Wertz is known for as being the batter on that. That wasn't the only thing that he did, but the amazing catch by Willie Mays is kind of what makes Vic Wertz's name a little bit memorable. So those are 3 cards for the Ken Burns collection that I picked up. And then another big project that I've been slowly working on is the Monster, the T206 set, and just taking my time with it. So this is George Moriarty, and I saw this at a booth for $30, and normally I am trying not to just pick these up whenever I see them, but trying to be a little bit more disciplined and go after some of the harder cards to find. This one has some significant back damage to it, but the front is just so clear, and so for $30, there's a slight crease over here, but for $30 with a clear image without creases running through his face, that's a great price. Kind of in my budget, I just figured to get a clean copy is going to be about $50 a piece on the cards. So I saw this one at a good price and was able to negotiate down a little bit from there. So that's the first T206 card that I picked up. The second one is in a little bit rougher condition, but it is a little bit of a more difficult card to find. And this is the Joe Doyle Hands Above Head. And this card is perhaps most well known for what is not on the card. So there was a version of this card that was printed that had New York, and right here there's a blank spot, National. So on the T206 cards, you'll notice that the name and team is centered at the bottom. And on this one, it seems to be a little bit off to the left. And that's because the original printing said New York National, which was an error. So they corrected it. And the New York National card that has the error on it is extremely rare. It's one of the big 4 cards. You can complete the Monster without having that card because it's just that rare. There's like a pop 10 in the PSA report. So this one is a little bit harder to find, and it's kind of a little bit more popular because of its connection with that other error variation. So I was able to pick this one up in a polar bear back, which has a pretty decent back on it. So I was glad to find this for my T206 set. Now the last 2 cards are the big cards that I picked up, and the first one, let me take it out of the sleeve first. 1960 Carl Yastrzemski rookie. So this is for the Ken Burns collection, and one of the iconic cards of the 50s and 60s. I love just the clear image on this. Centering is pretty decent. The reason it's a 3 is because of up by his hat, there's a little bit of a print line that runs across there, but I don't mind that. I love the clear image on the card, the clear registration. This card too is just kind of a reminder for me, one of the first shows that I went to where I was actually starting to collect vintage cards. I ran into a good friend of mine, and we didn't know that each other, we collected cards, and it was kind of interesting running into him there and finding out that we had a shared hobby. And he picked up this card, a copy of this card at that show, and I kind of had that memory stick with me as that being an important card in history, and now it's kind of cool to be able to pick one up myself. So there's the back on that. Strongsville, obviously a great player in Red Sox history. So we'll put Yaz over here. And finally, the target card that I went into the show looking for, take it out of the sleeve as well, was the T206 Mordecai Brown. This card completes my Cubs T206 run. So there's 37 Cubs, and this was the last one that I was missing. So really happy to pick up this copy. There were a handful of them there, and kind of went around and settled on this one. Just a great picture of Mordecai. Nice back, Piedmont 150. So right now, I have completed the T206 Cubs run, but they are not all together. I had 4 of the T206 cards that I sent away to SGC, took them with me to the show to get graded and encapsulated. 3 of them were in PSA holders. They were PSA 1s, and I just wanted to have all the cards in the SGC holders. So actually it was 2 of them were PSA. One of them was the old slab, so I got it reholdered with the new slab. And then there was another Evers card that I had raw that I also wanted to get graded. So I have all of the cards in the set, but not all the cards are together, all 37 of them. So when I get the other cards back from SGC, I will do another video to see if they came back as a 1, or there's probably a good chance that one of them might come back as authentic. But I'm okay with taking that risk of switching over from PSA to SGC, just because I do have these displayed, and I like being able to have that uniformity of them all being in the tux and looking great. So that was the show for me. A really good time. Again, best part was getting to connect with some people, make some new friends, and then get to just see some really cool cards that I'll never be able to buy, like the T206 Honus Wagner that was there as an auction preview, and just to see some other really cool rare pieces. So that was what I had from the show. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks to all of you who subscribe and comment on my channel. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day.